Rosseneri qua, esercito del diavolo, e voi giù di là.
Milan Nation, that's a big FU track to Redbird and Fonseca. This game was unbearable to watch today. Unbearable. All right, with that being said, I'm your host, Nicko. Welcome back to the Milanista Report, post-game therapy. All right, so that's FYI, anybody who speaks Italian or understands Italian, I should say, will know exactly what that song means. All right. So, not Redbird, not Fonseca for this bullshit club, this project that you've thrown in our faces. All right. But before I get into my rant, Milan Nation, let's get into today's exciting, thrilling match with our Milan versus Juve. All right. Before we get into the stats and tactical stuff, just an FYI. Cabal, Bremer were out of the game, and we couldn't create any quality chances. All right. And just pathetic. But let's get into the stats before I dive off into my rants, fellas. All right. So that being said, let's hop onto FOTMob and look at today's stats. So obviously 0-0, fantastic game, champagne football, like some of the Milanista that I know always say about Milan after their game, regardless of how they play. So expected goals. You've actually obviously created more chances. They were 0.45. We were 0.29. Shots on target, they had 2. We had 1 total shot, 7-6. Big chances, 2-0 of them. Big chances missed, 2 to Juve. Hit the woodwork, 0-0. Shots inside the box, 5-3. Let's get into the nitty-gritty stats, right? Defense, because defense wins Scudettos again and again. We've been saying this on this show. We actually won more of our tackles. Yippee. Interceptions 5-1, blocks 3-1, clearances them 11. We had 6. We had 2 saves. They had 1. That was the save at the end of the game with Deo's header, which didn't really cause the Gregorio any trouble. That was an easy save for any professional keeper. Duels won. We won 55. They won 43. Ground duels 51-49. Aerial duels, we won that one. But like I said, at the end of the game, that doesn't mean jack because the game ended at 0-0. Individual stats. Let's look at recoveries. Royale had 3. Thuram had 6. That's why I've been saying this. He's a better defensive midfielder in that position than Tajani. That's why he gets these high numbers. He had 1 block. He had a really decent game to Thuram. Orata, our striker, had 5 recoveries. Shouldn't be doing that. He shouldn't be falling that far deep when we need to attack and score goals when they have a banged up back line. Why is Morata dropping back and helping out so much? I have no idea, but this is something that Fonseca has been probably telling him, is instructing him during the week up to the game and before the game. And he keeps doing it again and again. We don't need your Morata to be coming down and helping out and recovering balls. That's not your job. Your main job is to be up top and scoring goals for us. You're a striker. You're not a CDM. You're not a cam. Fofana actually had a good game. He had 7 recoveries, so he goes up and down. He has a couple of decent games. He disappears and has a good game. He's not consistent enough, but he should be doing this a lot more than this. And those are the high numbers. Tajani actually had 5 recoveries. But I'll get into his little tactical mistake that he made early on in the game in a minute. And let's take a look at duels. Ground duels won. So duels lost. He lost 10 duels today. Royale, he was just fucking pathetic out there against Yildiz. And I'll get to his poor performance in a minute. He committed 4 fouls, one outside the box, the yellow card. He was in a bad position. And, Yildiz saw that time and space and took Royale down, right? And Royale's only option was to take him down outside the box for the yellow card. Lost his cheek, whatever. He didn't have, he had one decent game, like instance in the game when he drove the ball up the field, big deal. Other than that, he was nothing. Even defensively, he didn't present anything for us. Hernandez defensively had a decent game against Conceição. Conceição had the ball a lot of times on that right side, being that Juve we're missing their main striker. Koopmeiners is not a striker by any means. To be playing that position, there's certain skill sets that you need. And that's why our center backs were not challenged today. But obviously, that's why they didn't make many mistakes either. They weren't put in any really dangerous positions, Gabia or Chow. Even though Chow had a pretty decent game, he made a couple decent tackles. I'll get into that a little bit as well. This is it, man. I mean, Gabia had a decent game as well. Like I said, he won all his area duels 2 for 2. So defensively, listen, it was a good game, obviously, overall. But offensively, when you have these opportunities, you're missing key players, Juve, 2 big defenders, Bremer, Cabal. We should have done better than this. Much better. Let's see who's jumped on the chat. We see a couple people here. Let's see what's happening. I see 3 people. Don't be shy. If you guys have anything to say about today's game, let's start the comments. Let's start the conversation going. All right, Milan Nation, let's go. All right, so back to tactics. So a couple things that I wrote today. So first half, rest defense, what I talked about in defending 101 part 2, and I talked about it plenty of times before that. We're back to our 2-3 rest defense, meaning 2 center backs, right, behind the ball at the right in the halfway middle of the pitch. And you got your 3 you got people, 3 players up front, Fofana usually, and 2 other players, right? And you got Theo and our great center right back, Royale, bombing, going up the pitch, going into the attacking third, which I've said it 10 minutes again. This doesn't work. Luckily for us, Juve did not take advantage of this really open rest defense, which leaves a lot of opportunity for teams to hit you on the counter, right? Especially when you have a slow right back like Royale. And especially in our transition. Our transition wasn't bad today from our rest defense once we lost the ball, going into our set defense, right? Which was, we played a mid-block of a 4-4-2 today, actually. So that was a little bit different. So we stacked up the middle with 4 midfielders, and we had Liao and Morata up top, right? Pressuring the ball, trying to push the ball back, have them send the ball back to their keeper, right? And advancing the ball through the channels. In terms of high pressing, we played a zonal hybrid, more of a hybrid system. Beginning of the game, the high press was actually not bad. It was pretty intense, but that the game went on during the match, that kind of leaned off, right? It wasn't as intense as the first 20, 25 minutes of the game. Even though we didn't cause any turnovers, we were aggressive, trying to get the ball back in dangerous positions in the field, right? Trying to catch Juve off guard and out of their shape defensively. But we didn't take advantage of that, really. In terms of Juve's rest defense in comparison to ours, they played the more pragmatic, much more safer approach to 3-2. You have 3 center backs in the back, protecting that back line. You have 2 players in front of them, shielding them. So actually prevent you from being countered. And that's why we couldn't take advantage of Leao on that side when we got the ball back a few times. We couldn't take advantage of that because of that rest defense. All right. Set pieces, we weren't bad. We actually did a decent job covering up, playing that zonal, that hybrid again. Set pieces, we were covering men. But the big thing was that I noticed early on in the game, they didn't score, but there was a chance early in the game, and I'll bring up the pictures right now. Let me pull this up. Ale, fuck you, Redbird. Where is it? Design. Okay, here we go. Do I have it? Here we go. So this is early on in the game, right, fellas? You can see here we're tracking back. Fofana's up here, so we're in our 4-4-2 mid block, right? But where's Tajani? This is what I've been saying again a million fucking times. He's out of position. He doesn't have that. He's caught out of position time and time again. All right, because actually, Theo was doing the job. He's staying compact. He's not too far away from his center backs, right? You don't want to be out here, right? Leaving this gap. You want to be right here, right? Nice and compact. And Theo's actually checked his back shoulder for a minute here. Theo's in a good spot. But again, there's Conceição all by himself. There's the cross that comes in. And I don't want to hear about the cross was successful. Why didn't our right side defense do anything to close them down? Most crosses do get our successful crosses, all right? It's very difficult to block crosses. You're not going to block, if you're lucky, if you block 40% of the crosses, you've had a decent game. And there's our boy Tajani, our golden midfielder, our top world-class midfielder, out of position again, defensively. These are the issues I have with this system. It's a systematical issue with this. Because I'm sure Fonseca, his assistant coaches, everybody else, they watch it and they've seen the same thing time and time again. The back post is open and teams are starting to exploit it. Luckily, they didn't score, but again, these are issues that need to be taken care of. If we're actually looking to build a competitive team and push for a Scudetto, not this season, that shit ain't happening at all. I don't want to hear it. We don't have any chance to win a Scudetto. If we finish top 4, top 5, we'll be lucky to do that. There's things like this that happen over and over again. All right, actually, let's go, Mom. Chat's quiet, fellas. Let's go. What's going on today? Really quiet. I don't know who else has a post-game show, but and I shared the link. Let's get this conversation going, guys. Let's go. Let's get those chat going. Let's get the likes going. All right. So next segments are right back Royale. Where do I even begin with this guy, man? Where do I even begin? We know he's just not up to par to be starting for us. I have no idea why he's playing, because once Calabria came on, even Calabria's been cold as shit. He hasn't been playing any really quality minutes at all. Royale's still getting a start. All right. And he was at Yildiz, right? Yildiz, he was 1v1. He was very Yildiz most of the time. Musa a couple times, double teamed him. Not enough, because they were overloading that side of the field, Juve, to their credit, right? But take a look at here. Let's get rid of the caption. You guys can see this. Let's get rid of the ticker. So there he is right there. There's Yildiz, there's Royale, and look how his stance is. This is not the proper stance whatsoever defensively. And this shit should have been learned early on in his development. He was coming up the academy levels. The fact that he still hasn't fixed this issue, his coaching staff currently at Milan haven't corrected this, that's a problem. Leaving your feet that wide open, you're left to get nutmegged. And it's not like he has somebody behind him. If he has a defender behind him, covering him, we talked about the cover and balance in previous podcasts, right? Supposed to the last one that I came out with, the last live. You can't afford to do this because if you had somebody behind him, sure, you allow him to nutmeg you. You got somebody else behind you to recover that ball. This is his first mistake. He's done this time and time again. And then, boom, there he is, off to the races. He makes one touch out with his outside foot, right? Yildiz, and he's off. And there's, again, Royale trying to grab onto him. This is what happened close to the field on this field when he got burned. His defensive stance was poor. And Yildiz took advantage of it. He noticed his poor stance, and he just, drove the ball, causing Royale to foul him. And again, there he is. He's out of position. He's desperate. He's trying to make anything to do to stop him. Okay, nothing happened in this play. All right, you see here, he's got this cover and balance sort of back here. And it's, we actually have it's only a 2v3. So we have numerical numbers. So there's not much going on here in terms of anything dangerous. If this was closer to the attacking third, that might have been an issue this play, right? But things like this, again, need to be corrected by Fonseca and the coaching staff. All right? There's just too many things that were reoccurring that we're seeing over and over again with this club. So Royale, you get an FF minus, my friend. You're fucking worthless to me and to most Milanisti out there. You have no business playing for us whatsoever. You're not even making stupid fouls. You just don't have this. He doesn't have the sense to the basic foundations of defending 1v1 at all. None whatsoever. He can go and play for some other team. I could care less, but he needs to be off this club immediately. Right? That's not going to happen because we all know when it comes to January, from all the reports that we've been reading, right, that we're not going to be busy this January. We're not going to make any signings. We're not going to add any players that we really need, like a right back to compete with Eberson to push him or to push Calabria as well. We're not looking for a center back because Pavlovic, we all know, shouldn't be playing at all. Obviously, for the things he does, and even the fact that he was even subbed in today. I forgot to mention this before. For Gabbia, late in the game, you're to 0-0 game, and you take out your best defender, and you put in a player who's inexperienced. He's reckless. He's at any moment he can get a red card. We've seen that with the Serbian national team. How many red cards he's picked up recently with them. And that shit carries over to your club team as well, that behavior. And the fact you're trusting him with late in the game, a game that you have to win or come out with points, and you take the risk of putting him in and taking your best center back. And if you notice the difference between him and Gabbia will scan the field 4 to 6 times every 10 seconds. That's what good players do. That's what they're taught at the youngest level. I taught my kids that shit at U11 to scan the field. How many times coaches at the youngest level, at U11, U12s, will yell at their kids during training session, scan the field before you receive the ball to know where you're going with the ball before you receive it. Scan the field when you're defending. So know where you're at, know where your teammates at, know where the opponent's at. And Pavlich doesn't do that. That's why he makes these reckless challenges. He puts himself in really bad spots. But you've seen Gabi today, he was scanning the field consistently. The fact that you're taking him out, luckily we didn't get Bird for that mistake. That's a horrible fucking substitution. Unless he was hurt, unless Gabi hurt himself, and I didn't notice that, you don't take a player that person out unless you have a problem with him. That's inexcusable. So I don't want to see Pavlich back on the field ever again. Gabi should be playing as many minutes as he possibly can. If you're really serious about competing, which they're not. Let's see what's going on in the chat, fellas. Still quiet, man. For usually post games are kicking off, man. We usually have the chat popping, but today, man, everybody's either too depressed about today's performance. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. Let's see what's going on here. What? All right. Just checking something else, guys. Give me a second here. All right. Also, Fonseca came out with some a really interesting post-game quote today. I'll share it in a second. Let me just pull it up. So, where is it? Let me just find it. All right. Paulo Fonseca spoke to Nzanza on the title race. I know it's difficult for others, but I still believe in it. There are many games left to play, and there are many points that teams can lose. This is total BS. Total BS. The fact that you see the team's performance time and time again, how inconsistent we are. We're seeing the same mistakes time and time again with this team defensively. Offensively, we're not consistent either, especially today. Like I said, we had an opportunity, and we had Juve was light on their back four, and we couldn't create enough chances today, high quality chances, to take 3 points. I didn't expect us to win this game today. I called it the other day on my last pod. If we played well, if our rest defense was set, we were compact. For the back line did their job, the midfielders did their job, which they did for the most part, right? If Fofana had a decent game, we would come out at least with a tie. That was my feelings on this game, my prediction. And I said if that wasn't gonna happen, we would have lost the game. At least I don't think we got smoked or lost by a ton of points because, like I said, Juve we're missing their striker, right? Which is a big deal. But still, the way you perform, and especially in the second half, it really didn't take it to them. The press disappeared in the second half. You come out with a draw. A 0-0 draw at home. So I don't even know where to go with this, fellas. You tell me how you feel about this game, how you feel about this season. Because anybody out there is going to tell me that we still have a sliver of a chance to compete for the Scudetto. You are clowns. Absolute clowns. We all love this team. We all want the best for this team. But we need to just accept reality. Fonseca is not cutting it. He's not making the tactical changes that needs to be done, the tactical adjustments that I've talked about in previous pods defensively. We're seeing the same errors again and again and again and again. Playing Art lost his cheeks time and time again. He doesn't provide anything. Pushing up Royale on the rest defense, he doesn't provide anything offensively, and he's too slow to track back if there's a counterattack. Management really doesn't give a fuck. As long as they're top 4, top 5, and we go to the Champions League, that they can care less. But I don't see that happening as well. But just Fonseca to sit there and say we still have a chance, he's bought into his own bullshit. He needs to wake up and should have said, hey, we need to make some tactical adjustments to compete. But to sit there and say we still have a chance, and for some fans to continue to believe this story, time to wake up. And I got something for you, Fonseca and management. Here you go. Hold on there. Let me just share this. There we go.
Ανέστη, είσαι μαλάκας, γαμώ τον πατέρα σου που έχει τηλεφωνία, είναι πουστόπεδο, είναι μαλάκας, κάθε χρόνο που δεν μας δίνεις, είσαι καριόλης, τη γυναίκα σου τη γαμίσω, είσαι πουτάνας γιος, γαμώ το σπίτι σου, γαμώ το μαγαζί που έχεις, είσαι κολόμπαρος, πουτάνας γιος, γαμώ τη μάνα σου και γαμώ το σπίτι. Ότι γαμιάσαι. Με πας να τσιμπούκι γαμιόλα. Είσαι πουστόπεδο.
You guys get the point on my feelings on management and the whole goddamn project. That's my take on this team. And I'm sure some of you guys don't like it. But on this channel, myself, my co-host, we've been feeling about this, having these feelings about this club, especially management, not the players and the coach, since the beginning, especially management. Because they just keep running the same old shit in front of the team, the fans. And it's getting depressing. It really is. So, defensive player of the match. So, actually today, surprisingly, Chow had a really good game. Even though he wasn't tested enough, he did have a really good tackle. I think first or second half. Let me take a look here. Where was that tackle? Where did it go? Yeah, I think it was the first half, actually, if I remember correctly. They had a good chance, Juve, to get a shot on goal right inside the box, right on the near post. And Chow came in, he recovered pretty well, made a nice sliding tackle, went out for a corner kick. So I know I've been extremely hard on the kid since last season, and that was fair. That was a fair assessment on him because he did make a lot of mental mistakes last season. This season he's been okay, but today he actually had a decent game. So I'll give it to him. Hopefully he can keep it up, because to push Pavlic out of that spot. All right. And that way he can continue to compete with push Tomori and push Gabi as well, right? That's what you need, because iron sharpens iron. If you're not being tested in training sessions by your teammates in that same position, you're not going to improve. So I think the fact that Gabia, he's there, he's definitely pushing Chow in training session. They're pushing each other, Tomori as well. Pavlic, I could care less. He's one step away from body slamming an opponent on the field, that kid. But those three, if they continue pushing each other, they're going to improve, those three players. But again, we're in need of a center back. And let's be honest, like I said before, our chances of getting a player this winter ain't happening. And that's what pisses me off as well. Because if you look at the table, let's take a quick look at the table here. Table, Serie A. So currently at Atlanta's 28. They're up 2-0 on Parma. Inter's got 28 points because they took care of business today, winning 5-0. Napoli hasn't played yet today. They're playing Roma. So, yeah, Juve's still in the thick of things. They're at 25 points. They're only 3 points back. The league winners league at Atlanta there. Sorry, fellas. Just extremely tired as well. We celebrated my wife's birthday last night. We went out, had some really good mariscos, some really good seafood over here, some Mexican seafood. Had a couple of drinks and didn't sleep much. So, yeah, I need more coffee stat. But you are Milan. We're at 19 points. 19 points. We're in 7th place. We're 6 points behind Juve. And like I said, Juve, I guaranteed in January, they're gonna try to sign some players to strengthen their squad. Most likely, maybe Inter as well, Napoli, maybe Atlanta as well. I don't know, but I can't imagine those teams not trying to bolster their squads in January. But from us, from what we've heard from Ibra, we should be keeping his mouth shut and stop talking. He talks too much. Moncada's recent interviews as well that he came out with. I don't know what his business is, talking to the press and talking about databases, the way we scout players, yada, yada. We're not going to sign anybody. It looks like if we're going to be signing anybody, it's going to be Ricci, and that's going to be in the summertime for me, which is way too late. Which is telling me you're happy with the squad. You're happy with being this many points behind the top 5, the top 4, and you're content with this project. Which obviously any Milan fan with taking their Milan glasses off could tell you we need players. We need midfielders to push them. We need somebody to push Fofana in that spot. I thought Musa might have been the player, but it looks like he's going to be sticking him on that right wing back position. Tajani's not strong defensively. We just went over that before. We've gone over that a million times. And that's where Juve was a little stronger today because they're double fit. Tivits do more work off the ball. They're stronger off the ball. They're stronger in challenges. They cut off passing lanes. We need a left back vice for Theo. We're not getting that either. We're not giving our Futura kids a chance to even push for minutes. And yet, some fans, Fonseca, keeps pushing the same narrative that we're going to compete for a title. That's a fucking clown show. That is so unrealistic, Milan Nation. Extremely. So, let's move on to the next segment. All right, I'm going to give you guys a chance to touch base, to get on the show here. Give me your thoughts, rants, whatever. Have your 10, 15 minutes of fame here. All right, let me just put this link in the chat. There you go. Hold on, let me send the invite here as well. Yes, sec. Where's the link? There it is. right. Let's try to maybe get Gio on the show, Steve, Lab as well, Nathan, maybe Kim is too. Oh, Ricardus, dude, I didn't even see you there. What's happened? Dude, he needs to be more than drug tested. I'm sure if he took a piss test today, he would piss so hot. I don't know if he's taking drugs or is he just losing his mind being the coach of Milan. So I'm sure that wears you out as well. Oh, that Gio. All right, let's get Gio here.
Hold
Gio.
on, Nicko. Let me set up right now. Set it up. I'll give you 5 minutes because then I gotta go to Target. But hold on, Nicko. These girls is going crazy over here. Hold on. Nah, cause I gotta get a lot off my chest, man. I mean, I think today they messed with my emotions today, Nicko. Like I'm being serious. Like I think like I don't know, like going forward, especially like Kalulu's performance. Can you see me on the screen, Nicko, or not?
Yeah. Let me just mess
All
around
right.
with something.
All right,
There we go.
okay.
There we
All right,
go.
all right. Nah, so like today, like they messed me up, Nicko. Once again, like I okay, it's cool you want to go defensive, but if in the first half that thing didn't work, then it's time for you to change your tactics. RLC only made one forward pass today in the whole time he was in the game. Musa, he's a box to box, so if you want to pack the midfield, that's fine with him. But you don't have no Chukwueze, you don't have no Christian Pulisic in the game. It's like basically you wanted to draw. We cannot draw. Serie A, I've been talking about it, Nicko, for the last 2 years. Serie A is getting better. Atalanta now at 28 points. If
Yeah, but
Fiorentina probably gonna win tomorrow. All these teams are adding up, and then we got people on Paramount Plus like we got a game in hand. That game in hand don't mean shit. That's to a team
exactly.
that's below us. We've been struggling. We lost to Parma. We drew to Torino. We dropped points to Cagliari, and we barely beat Monza. Like this is like what they're not understanding. Like, and Ibra messed up the whole organization. And I'm gonna start being petty. Everybody that shitted on Maldini or got a problem with Maldini, remember, guys, he started talking after he won that Scudetto because he wanted to get his Champions League. Ibra talking too much bullshit. I'm the boss. I'm this. I'm that. Bro, you haven't won nothing as a manager. The team's not even doing good. And who is the PR to Cardinale? Why does Cardinale have to come out? Why did he come out like dropping his ball sack after we beat Real Madrid? No, what happens, Nicko? He got to come talk after Cagliari 3-3 that we're doing good. We're not doing good. I want to all the Milanistas, are we on the same page? If we don't make
Oh,
top four, we cannot renew Theo to the 7 million that he wants. If we're not making Champions League money, that salary is going to be bad. And you know, for us in FFP, we're the only club in Serie A and Roma that get punished. So you really think you trust Ibra, you trust Forlani, you trust Makanda to replace Theo and Leao with upcoming talent that can explode in the next 2-3 years? I can't, because we needed a right back for the last 3 years, and they replaced him with Emerson Royale. So you already showing me you don't even know what you're doing. And that's just disappointing. I've been telling everybody, we're right there. We just needed a right back. How everybody from Lille that you made top four in the French league with no money, you didn't want to recruit any of you guys like Thiago Santos.
so good.
Bro,
You know why?
Emerson.
You know why, Gio? Because I don't think Fonseca had any juice to pick his own players. That's why. Because you can't tell me that any coach in the right mind is going to sit there and say, "Yeah, I want Royale over Thiago Santos." If you're going to go that route,
And are we saving money or are we not saving money? You didn't want to pay Conte the $7 million, but you want to spend $15 million on Emerson plus a $3.5 million salary. Like if you would have bought Santos, he would have cost you the same amount of money, but he would have been on a lower salary. So I don't even know about what they're doing, man. This is the thing. It's like our Primavera sucks. We're 29th in the thing, like I said last time. Serie C not even good. You're like you guys just let everybody, the guys that got you there, you just let them go. You said Abate, you got in a fight with Abate because you wanted him to start over Camarda. It's just crazy. And you're not LeBron James, Ibra. Okay, so like, dude, stop trying to get your son in the team, man.
Dude,
This
I said
is disappointing.
I said if Ibra's son is promoted first before those kids are, before Liberali, I'm gonna lose my shit. Then we know the fix is in. We know, we're gonna know for sure it's gonna be fucking confirmed that this whole project is a joke. If you're gonna be promoting somebody like Ibra's son who has no business being promoted, you know what I'm saying, Jay?
He just got to the team.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but
he not even doing anything. Because
exactly.
Zeroli, Liberali, all these guys, we made it to back-to-back finals in the Champions League for the young puppies. That all these other teams can play them if they do good in that league, but we're the only team that can't play them. Like, bro, if he was good, I don't know. I mean, I gave up after like when Abate said that he had a disagreement with Ibra. That's why, bro, we've been hearing about Commander for the last 3 years. I haven't heard about Ibra's son. Maybe he good, maybe he not. I'm not gonna shit on the kid, but bro, like a generational talent that like this kid, Camarda is a kid that they're basically want him to have the national teams back on their back for the next 10 to 15 years. We like Milan to put on their back for the next 10 to 15 years. And like it's no disrespect to Ibrahim, but bro, we ain't heard of you like that. And stuff like that. And why do we need to send Jimenez to loan? Then why did we buy him? Why did we spend the $5 million? We should have just let him go back to Real Madrid. These are the things that I'm really not understanding.
Dude,
Liberali balled out whole preseason. He did good, and he can't even get a minute. We're up 4-0, and you want to be putting other play like it's bad. I'm gonna watch the team. I'm never gonna give up on the team, but that's not gonna hold me from not holding my tongue no more.
It's becoming harder and harder, G, because you know going into the game how the game is gonna play out most of the time. It's not a surprise at all. You know what I'm saying? Especially, yeah, we're super consistent. We can't string even more than a couple of wins together, 3 or 4 wins together. We've seen the same old shit time and time again. The defensive breakdowns, even though Juve didn't score today, we keep seeing the same thing. All right, and against a better team with a better strike, because they had Coop miners playing up front, they would have scored a couple goals on us today.
Yeah. All right, then, Nicko. Well, I gotta head out to Target, but I just want to say thank you for giving me time and tell me if you do the post games, I'll jump on you every time for the post games. I need therapy. I need therapy. Dude, these guys, they upset me, bro.
Most of the time I'm doing post game shows. Most of the time.
All right, well, just message me then and force on me la siempre. But these guys gotta go, man. At the top. All right, ciao.
Redbird out. Later, G. All right, so that was Gio from MWP Coast to Coast saying his piece about today's game. Anybody else want to jump on? Feel free to jump on to the show. Say your piece as well. All right. It's an open forum, right? Rosseneri Rumble. All right, let me do something real quick here. You guys can see the chats. Where is the logo? That's much better. Let's clean it up. All right, and just like G just talked about, and I talked about it, touched on it before as well. All 3 projects, the senior team, Futura team, Primavera team, they're all have fallen off. They're a disaster, every single one of them. All right, Ibro's, that was his pet peeve. His pet project was for the Futura team. He talked about how it's going to be a pathway between the Serie A and the Serie C, and players to be going back and forth. We haven't seen that at all whatsoever. And I talked about it on my last podcast I just dropped a couple days ago. All right, where I broke down the rest defense. Also dove into the importance of the Futura and Primavera long term, not just to the club, sustaining the club, giving kids a pathway to the senior team, giving them hope that one day they will be promoted if they show the skills, the proper skill sets to be promoted. They will be given a chance. And to have hope. And 2, they're cost effective. You're saving cash. 3, if they're valuable, you might sell 1 or 2 of them for profit, which we haven't done. And 4, most importantly, the other one as well, is providing players for the national team. All these things add up. It tells you that you have a good project in hand, a fucking legit project. When you see all teams failing all across the board, bad coaching, bad coaching, hire coaches. You have Fonseca over there. You have Bonetta, and the Futura has no business at all being coaching that team. He's destroyed that project. Right? Not giving these kids a lick. And now, just like Gio and I, we just talked about a minute ago, and I've said it before. If Ibra's son is promoted before some of these other kids are and is given some quality minutes on the first team, that's going to be a nail in the coffin for this project. And it's going to tell me and everybody else who's been Redbird out since the beginning that the fix is in, and they could care less about winning. It's more about having connections. Right? And which means that Fonseca doesn't have any fucking control over this team, and Ibra can do whatever the hell he wants. And I got Lab. What's up, Lab?
Man. And Nicko, mate, how you doing? I paid £5 to watch that game. Can you believe it? I feel robbed.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people feel robbed today. Wasted their time. And I said it. We had an opportunity to come out with points. It
was our chance. You're absolutely right. It was our chance, man.
Yeah, you have Juve. They were missing key players today more than we were. We weren't missing too many key players like they were. And we couldn't even put any high quality shots. We couldn't even threaten them on any shots to score goals today. Nothing. We were flat. And then you sit in there, you see Musa playing right wing. What's that going to provide? That tells you want to be more defensive.
Yeah, absolutely. That was fear. It was pure fear.
Fear, because he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to lose his job, and this is still putting us behind points. Regardless, we're fucking 19 points, and we're 6 points back of Juve and Lazio and Fiorentina. And this is the way it's going, and this is what Redbird is. They're content with this. I'm almost 100% confident of that. They're okay with this, the status quo. And you got Fonseca coming out. You saw the post. You see what he said after the game today,
Mate,
John?
So Nicko, I've just spent about an hour on the phone with Kim.
Lab, you still there?
We should have called you. We should have called into this show because we've just spent an hour ranting, man, to each other. And I did hear the post game. I've read the whole post game. I can't. Oh my God.
The fact that he came out after this and says that they're still in the title race.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I get you. I know, I understand you have to be positive, but to sit there and just lie to everybody, like we're stupid, like we're these, and some fans are going to eat it up, obviously.
Yeah, you'd have to. I would say this is what I said to Kim. I said nobody can support this anymore. The fact that today we had that game against Juventus, and a lot of those fans in that stadium paid upwards of 200, 300, 400 euros to sit there and watch it. Fonseca was asked the question, if you were a fan, how would you feel? Right? That's me, by the way. That's my other YouTube channel. Um,
Yeah.
so Fonseca said, if I was a fan, I would be whistling as well, because a performance like that is not acceptable. We were afraid when attacking. We did not take chances. We were afraid of taking chances. We played it too safe. We gave them too much respect and they gave us too much respect. And he said this, and Nicko, you'll find this funny. He goes, but let's just remember that this Juve team scored 4 goals against Inter. It's as if he's trying to use the fact and forgetting the fact that Juve were missing 7 players through injury. Yeah. And by the way, they were defensively solid today, thanks to us. We gave that to them.
Exactly. All right.
It's a sorry to say, but that was awful, mate. They were literally watching the game. I literally said nothing. The only time I spoke up and maybe said a swear word was when Emerson Royale ran into the back of that Juventus player, got himself a yellow card.
I went over. I don't know if you caught the beginning of the pod. I went over
No.
Royale a little bit. Dude, I've never seen such poor positioning on a that when you're defending an opponent like that. Like the fundamental mistakes that Royale makes is the shit that kids make when they're just learning the game.
I was like, just running to the back of him, because who does that?
Okay, it's Royale. That's who he is.
Well-
Yet somehow he's still starting over Calabria to this day.
Well, I again, some of the subs made at the end, I was like, what's happening here?
How'd you feel
very
about the
lost.
how'd you feel about Pavlos be putting in it late in the game when you're trying to?
It was, do you know what? For me, I was thinking, we are in no danger at the back whatsoever. These guys have no strikers, really. Let's be honest. They've got no informed strikers available. They started with Coop Miners as a false 9. For God's sake, come on. And I kind of thought, we should be like the first 5. Have you noticed, Nicko? The first 5 minutes, we look quite good. Then suddenly, the opposition go, oh, hang on a minute. There's nothing to this. There's nothing to count. And then they start pounding on us for fun. The Juve had nothing up the top today. They had nothing up the top. Imagine if they did. But it's so frustrating, mate. It's Liberali, as I think I heard Gio say, what has Liberali done to deserve this? What has the fan base done to deserve starting with RLC in Cam? Nicko, what have we done to deserve that?
I have no idea, but this is what we have. Unfortunately, drives me crazy because we all know we see Liberali's. Hold on, I got Kim here as well.
Kim.
We got our
We're gonna continue a phone conversation
Australian
here.
brother.
What's up, guys?
All right.
Hello again, Kim.
Hello again.
What's going on, Kim?
Oh, look,
Kim,
I don't know
what
where to
time is it?
start.
What time is it right now by you? By the way,
It's just 8 o'clock in the morning.
Christ, poor Kim.
So, literally, the game for us started at 4 a.m. And then, luckily, I had to wake up just to go to work at 6 a.m. So, yeah, I would have been more pissed off if I didn't have to go to work and I woke up for that shit show. But honestly, all I'm going to say is I don't even know what to think no more. Like, when I was watching this game, I never felt that uninterested, excited. I didn't even cheer. I just felt so dull watching it. Like, I've never felt like that before. And
Oh, too far away, man. Too far. You know what? I was on the phone with Kim for an hour, and the line never dropped. It was all good the whole time.
All right, let's see if Kim can come back.
Yeah, let's see if he's still.
Kim, join us back, Kim.
I
I
mean,
want to
I
get.
don't know, dude.
I want to hear. I want to hear Kim rants. I love when Kim goes off.
Yeah, it's funny when he goes off. Actually, it's really funny. Yeah, but yeah. So one thing Kim said, which is a great point. Pavlovich goes in training, sends Morata to hospital. Yeah, then gets a red card for Serbia, and then he gets subbed on for Milan.
Yeah, at a crucial point of the game when you're trying to come out with just a draw, you're taking out your best defender.
It's mad, isn't it? It's like wow.
Yeah, I was expecting him to body slam somebody when he came in. Honestly,
I mean, it wouldn't be nothing would be a surprise there, would it?
uh,
Not Tomori, of course. It's just like, yeah, Pavlovich. Yeah, okay, right. That makes sense.
yeah, I'm not sure what Fonseca's seeing in Pavlovich in training or anything
Well, I don't
to
think
warn him
anybody's
to.
sure what Fonseca sees in anyone. I think this is the problem, isn't it? Oh, Kim's trying to
All
get
right,
back in again.
all right, let's try to get Kim back. All right, Kim. All right, hopefully you'll stay on this time. Kim, you have the floor. Kim,
Sorry?
you have the floor. Kim.
Oh, sorry. I'm using my phone. I don't know what happened with the app. So, yeah, literally, as I was saying, I've never felt this dull watching a game. And knowing that it's Milan Juve, yeah, it's historically it's supposed to be a huge game. Get excited about, feel butterflies in your stomach. But this time around, I did not feel any of that whatsoever. And yeah, I just don't know what to think no more. Really.
I think we're all on the same page.
Oh,
It felt lifeless. I mean, honestly, when I watched the game today, I was ready to turn it off several times because I knew exactly how this game was going to play out.
yeah. I wasn't even. Yeah, I was so uninterested. That's how bad it sounds, and that's how it is. Well, no, it
Kim,
doesn't sound good, but
did you love Fonseca's jacket, mate?
oh my god,
He's
seriously, and he
he's,
wore that
he's trying
to
to
try
look
and
cool.
prove what? Prove what?
That he's got a sense of fashion. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you.
And what pissed me off the most was that he subbed in Pavlovic for Garbia. I was like, he's taking the piss.
We said,
And
yeah, we were talking about that just a minute ago too.
I was like, as I posted in the group chat, I'm like, if I was a management, at least that had balls, I would have dropped Pavlovic for a few games, especially after he literally put Morata in hospital in a training session. And then in internationals, he gets a red card for Serbia. So what does that say about him? And what? And he deserves to get minutes after all that shit? Oh, fuck him off.
And you're
Along with
and you're,
Jovic.
and you're taking out Gabi as well. I mean, if you took
Yeah,
out Chow,
exactly.
that would have been questionable as well, right? I mean, that would have made no sense. But taking out your possibly your best player in the back for the Serbian Merc, waiting to just I don't know, make a mental mistake, make a foul outside of the box, and give Juve a chance to score a goal on us.
Yeah.
A ton of shit
And
could have gone wrong.
I was getting people when we signed Pavlovic saying, "Oh, this guy's going to be a colossal. Oh, this and that." Bullshit. What's he done? And then on the Milan official page, their media team made a video welcoming him, saying that, yeah, even comparing him to Stam as well, which is just absolutely ridiculous.
Well, yeah, that's marketing. I mean, they did the same thing for Royale. They did a similar video with him and Cafu, which crazy too, which was just insane.
I can't believe this shit.
but
Oh,
there's a portion of the fan base that eat this shit up, right? Mostly fans that are newer to the club or didn't know what Milan used to stand for, right? When we were watching Milan all those years ago, and this they're okay with this the way the team is set up right now. You know, especially if they're American.
morons. Morons in charge.
I've gotten to the point where I used to try to be, I don't know, I guess give them like just, not care how they feel but the more and more that I keep hearing about this and they keep thinking we this is a good project and they keep supporting management, especially if they're American fans as well, and they love the fact it's an American team mostly, right, in a sense the way they're marketing it. Pulisic got on the team as well, and Musa, yada yada, and
It's just hard to stay positive, to be honest. Seriously.
yeah, because
Nicko,
tell you what,
I
go ahead,
what I
John.
was thinking was this, man. Like the onus on the attacking phase was on us. We were the home team. We had Leao. Yes, Pulisic was on the bench. We had Chukwueze. We had Morata. We had Liberali available if we wanted him. Let's be honest. We chose not to.
No, he wasn't on the bench today.
No, that's what I'm saying. We
Oh yeah,
chose
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
to
It
bring
chose
him
not
up.
to not even select the
We
kid. Yeah,
choose this. So Fonseca is choosing to go fear first because he knows had we lost that game, Nicko, it would have been a clear 10-point gap to first place. Yeah, now it's 9 points. Ooh, whoopsie doo.
yeah.
The onus was on us. We are the home team. The onus is on us to catch up with the other teams, not to keep dropping points. My point was
Yeah.
this. Yeah. If we were away to Verona, would we beat them 5-0? No. We'd probably struggle and get a draw
Probably not. I doubt it.
hmm
because our management shit their pants all the time.
And what's the game in hand? This game in
We're
hand we
giving
got means jack shit.
Oh, and by the way, if anybody out there trying to
Is Nicko frozen or is it just me?
he needed time, guys, can you hear me?
I can hear
Oh,
you
hold
now,
on.
mate.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I lost the yeah. Hold on. Christ. All right,
Someone
that's
else.
better. Oh, who else is this? Well, damn, we got a full house. No.
Who's this?
Oh, no. That's my extra cam. Okay, never mind. We're good. Yeah. No, I was saying I don't know where I got cut off, but for anybody going out there saying that that Liberali he should be playing for it's more important to him to play for the Futura team. What are they playing for over there as well? They're in the bottom of the table. They have a game tomorrow. Don't tell me tomorrow's game is more important than playing for the senior team and getting him minutes on that. Quality minutes. Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely can hear you.
Yeah, can
That's
you?
right.
Just like the
Yeah.
game, Nicko, there's not a lot to say there, is there? Because you're right. You're absolutely right. But I kind of think, how can you have a sellout, people paying an enormous amount to watch Milan versus Juventus, and you're sold a fake team? You're sold a fake club. What is this? Why are we
Because there's
accepting this? The stadium should be empty, man.
we're obviously we're not accepting it, but there's a ton of fans, and there's probably some plastic fans out there too who are buying tickets and they're filling up the stadium. And as long as those people keep buying tickets, right, at those, because they've jacked up the prices as well this year. I think they jacked them up 15% from last season, right?
I think something like that.
Something like that, which is a lot too. That's a big that's a big increase in your prices as well. People are they're not. Why would management change anything? Why would they care if they keep selling tickets and keep selling that bullshit merchandise that we're seeing?
Yeah.
They don't
Where are
care. They
these?
don't
Where
care.
are these?
They don't care about the real fans, the true diehard fans like us
Yeah.
on the show, the ones in the chat. They could care less about us.
That's right.
They're going after the newer generation. They're going
Yes.
after the fans that are like on the fence that are that's potentially new fans in the U.S. or in other regions of the world, right?
Yeah.
And they're selling them this like this is what, and they go, wow, they could kill us. They don't really know the history of the club, and
Yeah.
they're being sold this product. They go, wow, look at they have Pulisic, they have Captain America. Oh my God, they have the captain of the Spanish national team.
Yeah.
Look how great
Look at
he
the
is.
jacket that Fonseca's wearing. I want one.
Look at the jacket. Yeah, look at the cool collab they're doing with the Yankees. Because not for nothing, the Yankees are the most internationally known team in baseball.
Yeah.
When it comes to
Yeah.
Yankees, how many people in every country will have a Yankee cap on, regardless if they're a fan or not?
Mate, I've got a Yankee cap in my
That's what I'm
collection.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Like you see it everywhere. So from a marketing point of view, they did the right thing. But from the sporting perspective that we talked about, they could care less. They could care less. They don't care about developing players. They don't care about pushing them to giving them a pathway to the first team.
Yeah.
None of that.
Jesus.
You know, and honestly, to be tell you guys, I mean, it's getting hard and hard to do these post game shows. I do it because I know people they're looking forward to these shows to say their piece and whatnot. But it's getting to the point where I'm gonna need a break if I keep saying the same shit. Because you know how I look at the game. I look at and if I keep saying the same mistakes time and time again, how is it easy for me to come on and do a live, do a pod, take time out of my day, and talk about the same shit every single time and not be excited about anything?
It's literally copy and paste every
Yeah,
week.
it's like and I'm honestly, if you look at my notes from the last like few 5-6 games, it's the same stuff. Really, it's the same shit. And I'm waiting for a change. I'm waiting for Fonseca to make a change tactically. Something. Show me something as a coach that you know what the hell that you're doing to give me some promise for the season. Yeah, we talked about it, John. We talked about it at the beginning of the season, and I'm sure Kim, you on the board. Myself, John, a few others, we said our expectations for the season. One, we didn't expect to win any titles, any trophies. That was just not happening. But at least to show us liberality, show Kamada, bring these kids up, give them quality minutes, and we'd be excited. Like, hey, look at the Zorley's playing.
Let's see the youth. That's what we were saying.
See, we said it time and time. We're not even seeing that shit.
You want to pacify the traditionalists? Then what you do is you show us the youth, the people that will bring Milanismo to the club. Instead, we were just fed lies. We were told this is the coach that's going to do it for you. This is it. And then, Nicko, just a plug for tomorrow morning, right?
Yep.
We're going to do the next episode tomorrow morning for Milanista 360, and we're going to go through the youth project. And we've done some research on the youth project, and I'm telling you, all roads lead back to Ibra. And you will see from all the information just how much this one individual has absolutely hijacked and is killing our club from the inside out. You will see this not only through trying to promote his son to play, right, but the people he has put in place. We will discuss it tomorrow in detail. But, some people here in the chat, all of the real fans will know Fonseca was brought in because he was supposed to have been the man to bring in the youth in a way that Pioli never did. You remember, Nicko, the complaint we had with Pioli was always the same. You wait until basically players have one leg before you bring in someone from youth. Yeah? Play the same squad week in, week out. Then when someone gets a massive injury, you bring in Simic. Yeah? And then this club, like the idiots as they are, get rid of Simic. And then he comes out, after he feels safe, he comes out and starts telling you he wanted to play for us. He wanted to be an option. And he could see that Futuro project was a load of shit. He could see through it. And he's right. And we're going to discuss it. Just going to give you one little bit of information, right? A roster of 31 players in the Futuro team. You cannot allow a manager inexperienced with a sporting director who's got no effing clue to run a squad of 31 players and expect to get anything out of it. I'll leave it there. We'll discuss it more tomorrow. But on that point, I am so furious because we should not be seeing RLC week in, week out. If Pulisic has taken a knock, he needs a rest. RLC should never be an option at Cam.
John.
Never, ever. I'll stop.
No, John, and the other thing too, yeah, we were saying about Pulisic, right? We don't even have somebody to even push these players. So even like, let's compare this team with the previous teams of the past, real quick, guys. So in previous squads that we had, right, even under Berlusconi, he always, even when he had top players, he always brought other top players the next season to push those kids, those starters, right?
Yeah.
So they would be uncomfortable and say, "Hey, listen, I could care less that hey, Stom, you're here. We're getting another center back to compete with you next season," whatever the case was. To make sure you're on your game, to make sure you're working on your craft, you continue to improve, and you're not being comfortable and complacent. And these players are complacent. Who's Pulisic afraid of taking his position? Who? Chucky? Ain't happening.
Yeah.
Is Leao scared he's going to lose his job to Okafor? Hell no. Morata, he's not being pushed by Abraham at
There's
all.
one. Nicko, you've just put Morata. It's taken him a month, 2 months to become complacent. He came in, he was hungry, he was running everywhere, he was rushing. Today, you touch him with a feather, he falls over. I'm like, no, man, no, that's not what I want. I need the fighter that I saw on day one. And Pete, awesome point. Management need their buys to look like they are successful so they don't look wrong. That's what's happening here, Nicko. We're not at all playing anyone based on performance, based on how they're behaving. We're playing players based on we bought them for this much, therefore they have to play. That is a recipe for disaster. And that's why we are as many points behind first place as we are today. If, as you said, Nicko, we were playing players based on ability, potential, excitement, the future, you would have several the youth squad players actually integrated into this, pushing these guys. And I guarantee you put Liberali on there, he would drop RLC. He would drop him like a sack of potatoes. Unbelievable. Unbelievable what this squad is doing. I'm so angry. Okay, we didn't lose today, but to go out in a home stadium and play like cowards, for Fonseca to say, if I was a fan, I would have whistled too. What is wrong with our club, man?
Full
We
of
should
shit.
have an empty stadium, man.
They
Empty
didn't even have a
stadium.
striker, for fuck's sake. Which is even worse.
Yeah, and to sit there and who does that fall on? Fonseca saying that we didn't attack, we did that falls on the coach too.
Well, he said in the final third we didn't want to take chances. Like, what is wrong? What is wrong with you? We were not brave, he says. Like, well, whose fault is that?
That's on him.
If
He's
you
trying to
put Musa, you're going for a defensive approach. Nicko, you tell me, man. You'll
we've
try
seen
to
it.
block something down that wing.
Musa is not a right wing.
Right?
He
Jesus.
should
It's like
he should be playing ideally if you're really looking to be stable in the back, right? Defensively. You either stick three midfielders, forget it, you put Musa, Fofana, Tijani, and you got two midfielders in Fofana and Musa that can recover balls and defend a little bit. All right, or you push, if you're going to go with that 4-2-3-1, you push Tijani up in the camp so you can be more creative. But he keeps sticking Tijani back in that position time and time again. And I showed it before earlier on today on Tijani. Early in the first half, they almost scored in the back post again from a cross that came over on Theo. Conceição was wide open because Tijani was slow to recover. which he's done again. You put somebody like Musa in that position, Musa's going to get back there and defend, guaranteed.
I mean,
But you're showing me that you put him as a right wing. He's not providing any. So the whole right side. Let's take that for a moment. You have Emerson Royale and Musa on the right side.
Yeah.
Tell me who's that? What defender there is going to be scared of that combination on the right side of the field?
No
Not
one,
one.
man. No. It's just like you've put Musa there because of his, I don't know, running power. I don't know, because he can track back. I don't bloody know, mate. I just genuinely, I know Pulisic picked up a knock. I heard this, Nicko, right? I know the US played against Jamaica, I think, recently.
Yeah, Jamaica. It was, and it's those games are always tough. The conditions are, especially when you're playing in like feels like Jamaica.
I think it was away to Jamaica.
Yeah, yeah. Those are harsh. The conditions are harsh. The fields are atrocious. It's very physical. Those games within CONCACAF.
Yeah. So I get it.
It's gonna happen.
I get it. The guy needs a rest. But come on, man. Be a little bit more imaginative. If you don't have the players to play this formation, how about you try something else?
Because he doesn't know what else to play. He's limited as a coach.
That's so scary, Nicko. It's so scary, mate. It's frightening. And I wanted to say something. I said this to Kim when I was talking to him earlier. I wanted to say to everyone, we've got some Champions League fixtures with borderline part-time squads. Please do not jump on the bandwagon and think that everything is sorted out once we start piling up points in the Champions League, okay? It really isn't.
Yeah,
you go up against a half-decent manager, you'll get picked off for fun. Okay? Just like, I've had enough. I've had enough of like the piss take of those channels that are saying, this is by design, this is actually really good. I hear podcasts, and in the first 5 minutes, they genuinely tell you of financial successes that we're having. I am not a fan of me. My God, when I remember watching Milan as a kid, batter the living daylights out of Inter, and winning games left, right, and centre, and me thinking, that team is amazing. I want to watch more of them. That's why I became a fan. What I didn't think for 1 second, Nicko, oh yeah, they must sell a lot of merchandise. They must have a deal with Dyson. They must have a deal with I don't know, DRC maybe. Oh wow, man. That's why I want to support them. I don't give a toss about how well we're doing financially. I really don't care. Please tell me, do we have fans in banks? Is that what it is?
I guess so.
Jesus. Yeah. I think we got fans who are bankers, and I'll say something else. Iranian bankers.
Hold on.
Oh, he's left it with me. He says, be right back. Yeah, once makes Pioli look like Guardiola. I don't know, guys. I think you've got it spot on here. The guys on here are spot on. And I think Chris, Pasmino as well, with his comments naming people out. Where are those people that early on in the season said, I just want to give Fonseca until the end of the season? By then, shut your mouth.
No, there's still fans like that to this day.
Well, I don't.
And a quick thing about Pete said about Pioli, but credit to Pioli, as much as we all knew his time was up with Milan, right? He won a Scudetto with this team.
He won a Scudetto, not with his team.
No. Well, you know what I mean. Well, yeah. With okay, some of the players, maybe with Milan, obviously, with a complete different staff, and which is crazy to me. There's still fans out there, people out there, and that think that this current squad, which drives it, they're absolutely, I don't know what they're thinking, that this current squad is better than that squad that won the Scudetto.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, evidence. Just
I
look
think
at the evidence, for God's
evidence
sake.
is all about trophies. It's all about winning trophies. That's
Well,
all that
okay.
matters at the end of the day.
Well,
It's not
Nico,
about on paper.
2 Berlusconi trophies, all back to back. It's
Hey, that's against Monza. That's against a
top club. It's embarrassing. This is not Milan, man, guys. It's not Milan. I don't generally, for those podcasts that come out spitting numbers at me. Honestly, I turn them off the moment I hear that. I don't give a shit. I just
no.
don't anymore.
There was a point I used to watch a couple of those other podcasts, and it's not even worth mentioning, to be honest. Um, they always talk about they're afraid to blame management, right? They will hardly ever talk bad about management. And then they keep talking about, well, look at this great signing we made. We saved, we saved $5 million on this player, or look how we're doing financially, and the same thing that you're talking about, and they just try to keep spin this positive thing in our faces, well, into their listeners' face, and they have a ton of followers too, so they're reaching a ton of people, and there's, like I said, those fans are buying into that noise. That
I don't see for me, Nicko, I can't comprehend that. But
no,
then
me neither.
I wonder if it's because you and I, Nicko, were born of a particular time. So what we've seen with our own eyes, I'm just trying to think. If you were a lot younger and your first time watching the club was during the banter era, first I've got to ask you the question, why? Right? What is the reason that you supported the club? Because it makes no sense to me whatsoever. But then now accepting what you've seen, because you've seen us winning a Serie A title. You've then seen new ownership dismantle the club, dismantle management, replace them with rookies. By the way, Nicko, one of the things I did is I had a look at the ages of Moncada, Forlani, Zlatan. They're all younger than me, mate. Do you understand this?
Yeah, it's crazy.
You imagine having a technical director younger than me. That's wrong. That's just wrong. And you got a guy like that making massive decisions for the club. I mean, Moji is literally piss in your face. It's just unbelievable. It's so wrong. Furlani's, I think he's 45.
Yeah, and what experience does he have? He's a money guy. He has no business talking about anything about football related.
Yeah, Ricardas,
Nothing.
you're spot on. You said it.
None. What's that? Oh,
I like that you've got the chat coming on the side. It's pretty good like that, so they can all see the Sempre Milan crew. Yeah,
well, listen, and to what you were just saying, John, is about these other podcasts, the things that they're spinning out there left and right. Even in the fans, in addition to the fans that became fans during the banner, I think a lot of them became fans first because maybe of playing FIFA and liking, I don't know, whatever. I think that's the way they became fans from a different route than you and I, right? Like, for example, and maybe like Pete as well, and Ricardus and Gio, and even Carmelo, who are long-term fans. We became fans for obviously much different reasons than these newer fans. And I think in terms of it's a generational thing as well. I think generationally, they or personality wise, they're not as competitive as we are. As we, they don't expect excellence, and they're okay with this mediocre product.
Yes, and I think that Nicko, they accept it, and But what? Why? Like,
I think it's a
if
personality thing. I think because they
think, Nicko?
think. Go ahead.
No, I just think all of our history. We did we did a podcast last week where we looked at the glory days, didn't we? We did a little bit of a celebration of having all of us from all over the world joined together, and we spoke about the greatest players in our history. We went through their numbers, which are absolutely astounding. We went through some squad, absolutely incredible. And they're all there on YouTube. People can go on YouTube and watch some of our greatest moments. But are they not educating themselves with what we are?
All of us from all over the world.
Do you get me, Nicko? I
I
don't
think
get it.
they're probably not, and even if they do, they come out to the same excuse. And when we start talking about this is worse than the Banner era, right? Which it is in a different way. They keep saying, "Well, the Banner era is not at least not the look, but at least the Banner era. At least we knew what management was about." All right.
Yeah.
And in a sense, every club goes through a Banter era. Even Madrid went through a Banter era at some point in their life recently. It happens to every team. All right. It happens in baseball, it happens in every sport. You can't be super successful year in, year out. But what the difference is between the Banter era and those previous owners compared to now is this: the BS is the incompetence.
Yes.
It's the lies. It's sitting there telling us one thing 1 minute. Oh, we want to be like Real Madrid and we want to be successful, compete with the best club, and then doing the opposite.
Spot on.
That's the problem with this. And the other one is the fact that the Italian core. We've been through this again and again. We've had opportunities. There are players out there. If you don't want to sign an experienced Italian player because it's going to cost you money, because you're dealing with the other teams in Serie A don't play nice with Milan for whatever reason, or historically, then you go after these other kids that are coming up in Serie C, Serie B teams, the mid-table teams that have these really talented Italian kids, and you sign them if you want to go that route, if you want to save money. Or better yet, promote your within. Like we just said, promote the kids that you have.
Yeah.
But they don't want to do that. And now let's look at the January window. I know you're going to touch on this tomorrow.
Oh, man. Oh, my God.
Since you're on, I touched on it before early on the show. The fact that this is another lie. You want to be competitive. You want to compete, et cetera, et cetera. You have gaps to fill. We can't fill all these gaps in one window. But the fact that they come out and saying, "Oh, we're okay the way we are. Oh, we're set. We're not going to sign somebody until the summertime." By then, it'll be over the season, pretty much.
Yeah. I'm so angry about this.
And you know for a fact that Juve is going to bolster their team. Napoli is going to look to bolster their team. Inter is going to look to add players. Probably, and then we're going to sit on our ass and go, "Oh, you're going to sit there and tell the fan base that this team is set. You're okay with this current team."
Nicko, so Sempre Milan come out. I'm going to name them. Sempre Milan come out and they say, Ricci is the player that we're targeting. Milan is looking and studying Ricci. What did we say just as the transfer window closed? Milan might be the greatest club in the world at assessing everyone's asses forever and never making a decision. You then look into that story and you think, no, you and I, Nicko, no. Ricci, no chance in the world. With these ownership, complete no-no. You look closer at the story, didn't have to. Ibrahimovic comes out to the press and says, "We're fine. We'll leave that." Then you look at Moncada's interview. Yeah, Ricci, signings, they look interesting, but these conversations are going to continue until June. What? And what did we say last podcast? They're going to come out to the press and they're going to say that Benacer counts like a new player.
Yeah, that's the lining up for that.
And that's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly how they're going to cover themselves. These people are liars. And actually, this is something I said to Kim, and I only realized this again today. This is not a banter era level playing squad. If you combine, Nicko, our starting 11 with the Futuro team, this is not a banter era playing squad. What it is, this is banter era management. This is what it is, Nicko. CEO, technical director, Redbird, what he is, concubine. All of these guys in these roles, president of the club. That's banter era. All of the people that Cardinale has put in place underneath him are inexperienced. Oh, yeah, sorry, we do have a sporting director, Dottavio, who just got his badge out of a crisp packet last week. You know, if you count these people together and you look at how inept and inexperienced they are, then you realize it's management that's banter era. It's not the playing squad, it's management that's banter era. In that sense, we are really deep in the banter era because I can't remember a time where we've had such poor people around the club making decisions. And you tell me, Nicko, we've had terrible ownership. We've had people that have sold the club for under us. We've been extremely poor financially. We've done all of that. But at what point have you actually, can you point to anyone in our club, yeah, responsible for the sporting side of it that's got any ability whatsoever? You tell me, Nicko. Just tell me one person, because I guarantee you won't find one.
How about this? There's your answer. Zero.
Yeah.
Nada. All right. And the fact that they're allowing these people to talk, what business does Moncada have to sit there and publicly talk to the fan base and run his mouth about the database, about the scouting? You have 5 scouts here, 5 scouts in Italy. Where are you scouting? What's going on? This database, we have this thing. And
Oh,
so it's just more smoke. And it really, that's what I think systematically, it's a systematic problem, right? That it's just bullshit. It's frustrating, like we just said, that it's not, they're just lying to our faces. And in addition, just everything else that's going on with the club.
I mean,
And then you on the top of that, you have podcasts like Semper Milan and you know other podcasts that, you know, they try to promote, they try to keep this positive spin. Okay, great, but you know, you gotta tell the truth as well. Instead of focus on it, just instead of saying, well, they're gonna sign this and putting out these reports and talking about, oh, you know, oh, it's, you know, Fonseca's the problem. No, Fonseca is not the problem.
no.
Because, like I said, we talked about it. You know, I think it was mentioned before in the chat, and we I don't know how many times we said it. They can bring anybody in, unless you're bringing in somebody like Carlo. Not even Carlo. Christ. I don't know. Say you bring in Pep, a prime Pep Guardiola into the team. Guardiola. He might have a chance to improve the team a little bit. But if you're not getting support from the management, and management doesn't care, you have people around you making decisions. They're not giving you the power to make any technical decisions with the players. Right? You're being told to start this player or to promote these players. I think that's what's going on as well with the Futuro. Is I don't think Fonseca has the power to say, yeah, I want these players to be called up. Honestly.
I honestly,
that's my take. I think he has zero balls with this. He has zero input on this team when it comes to players being called up. Because you can't sit there and tell me he wouldn't want to pick over a Liberali over Loftus-Cheek. Give him a chance to play.
Well,
over
no,
him.
I think. I mean, again, I say it again, Nicko. I am not in any way trained in football tactical knowledge or coaching, right? I admit it openly. But for God's sake, if just a passionate fan knows that RLC shouldn't be on that pitch, how can it be that someone who's being paid 2.5 million a year can't see that? Of course he can see it. But as you said, you know, it is. And these guys are right. This is something else that I wanted to just make the point here. The longer you leave this management and a team in place, the longer they're going to bring us, the more closer they're going to bring us to the banter era, because they'll continue to make mistakes in the market. They'll continue to make mistakes in promoting players, and they'll continue to make mistakes in selling players as well. It's the incoming market and outgoing market that's being absolutely demolished. Today, one of Juventus's best performing players was indeed Kalulu, who was blocking everything, right? We gave that to them. 10 clean sheets out of 13 games. We gave that to them. Kim, Atalanta just won. And I'll let you
Yeah.
in on something, Nicko. The £5 that I lost on Milan, I placed bets on Atalanta to make the money back up again because I was like, you bastard club, you're not doing this to me and taking my money. So thank you,
Attaboy,
Atalanta.
Lev.
The longer
Nah,
you leave this management team in place, Nicko, the longer they're going to bring us to the banter era. The closer they're going to bring us to banter era with the actual playing squad. And there was something I was talking to Kim about, Nicko. And you remember last week we spoke about this theory that some Italian channel had about Milan are bringing in players from different regions of the world based on viewership figures. And you correctly said, Nicko, but why the hell would anybody tune in from Brazil to watch Emerson Royale? The thought is this: I bet you this is what's happened. Someone's told ownership, you need viewership figures from Brazil. And their answer is just get anyone from Brazil. As opposed to what actually makes sense, bring in some young, up and coming, hot shit that could turn into a supernova, like a Kaká. Yeah, bring in someone who's going to excite everyone, and then the Brazilians will tune in, they'll buy the shirts, and they'll become the biggest fans of Milan out there. Instead, because they're so inept in their ability to do their jobs, they just thought, yeah, we'll fight like hell to get this crap hole player from Spurs who has no record whatsoever of being able to do anything because he's Brazilian. You imagine someone so inept to bring in Emerson Royale for 15 million.
Yeah, I don't know what scouting was done on Royale, or the fact in terms of kind of BS in terms of what package they brought to Jerry and say, listen, sign Royale, you're going to get viewership in Brazil and sell T-shirts and et cetera, whatever. Because Royale doesn't even start for his national team. He's not even a bench player on the national team.
Exactly. Not one Brazilian person, except for his own family, will tune in to watch him play for Milan.
If I was his family, I wouldn't even want to watch his games. That's how bad he is. He's terrible. I've never seen a worse. I mean, for a Milan level. I mean, even Dest was better defensively than him.
Oh.
Yeah, I said it. And because even Dest, he brought something offensively. He was good on the ball, Dest. He had some creativity. I mean, Emerson Royale can't even do a simple back heel. He tried to do a back heel early in the game, and the ball went out of bounds.
Forza Milan, Pete.
All right, so there you go.
Yeah,
And
Nicko,
like I
you're
said,
absolutely right.
we're gonna be stuck with Royale until the end of the season. And we're gonna be stuck with. And now, say if we try to sell him, who in their right mind is gonna want to buy Royale?
No one, bro. Oh, Kevin Constant. Now you're pushing.
We got a constant.
Now we're
All
really,
right.
now we're really pushing it.
Yeah, now we're opening up the envelope now.
See, those memories are blanked from my mind. Don't bring back names like that. You're scaring me, mate. I've got images of Kevin Constant. Oh my god.
At least we knew what we were getting with those teams.
Yeah. Yeah. You remember Cardinale saying, yeah, Emerson Royale is going to accelerate now. We were all like,
Dude,
what?
you want to hear
He's gonna
something
what?
funny? You want to hear
Go.
something funny? Oh, so a while ago, I don't know, a few episodes. It's been a while, maybe a month or so. On Separate Milan, this was one of the last times I was listening to their pod. Ali, who's the main host for that show, if anybody hasn't watched that show in the past, he came out and he said, I doubt he was joking. He's not a joking type. He was serious to an extent. He said, Royale has the ability
Oh no, I
to
remember
be
this.
to be the best right back in Serie A.
I remember this.
I wanted. I was literally. I spit out my food when I heard that.
Yeah. The thing is, Nicko, right? Listen.
I get you. Yeah. Listen. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. No, I I feel like we're very open. You know, on Milanista 360, one of the things I think we pride ourselves on is to kind of say, look, we are we are open to having discussions with anyone, right, Nico? We're more than willing to have discussions with absolutely anyone, and I don't mind people who are, of course, positive about the club because that's great. There have to be for for one side, there has to be another side. That's where you have good discussions. That's all fine for me. I don't want to hate on anyone, but some of these takes are just straight out wrong. I'm sorry, and
Well,
you got to don't take what's the word? I don't want people to take offense, right? But you can't turn around to me and say that Emerson is going to be the best right back in Serie A. In what world do you say that? Ollie is actually, a really thorough writer. He does a lot of work for Sempre Milan, but he knows himself that he shouldn't be saying that. He knows it, and I don't know why. I'd love to have him here and have a discussion with him. I genuinely would
this is
because
my take.
honestly,
I think with him and a few other podcasters that kind of go back and forth on their views and their takes, I think it comes down to viewership. I
yeah,
think they take the temperature of the room of the people in the chats, leaving comments on Twitter or whatever on social media, and they start pushing this agenda, whatever agenda it is, for viewership. Because
yeah,
especially when they get up to those numbers, 10K viewerships, I'm sure that for us on the flip side, some like on Milanista 360, we're not here. I mean, yeah, we'd love to have viewerships and people listening to the show, and we appreciate everybody that's tuning in. But our goal is not to have 20K followers and um, possibly get certain um, I don't know, to get some mentioning actually some, I don't know, access to the club and access to certain reporters or whatever the case may be. We don't care about that, and that's what we speak our minds about management, about the way we feel. We're not shy about that
yeah,
because we're independent at the end of the day.
yeah,
you know and I think to some degree they're not. I think they I don't know, they just feel like they need to change to keep up with the agenda, keep up with the viewership, get the numbers up, and they're chasing subs in a lot of cases, which is fine. But this, like you said, to say things like that, it just it makes no sense at all.
No, I personally think that it harms your viewership, but I think you're right. Perhaps if you've got some exclusive access to the club, you feel like you have to be always positive and always supportive.
Exactly.
Okay, but unfortunately, honestly, for me, that's meant that I've unsubscribed, because I just can't. I can't. I'm a fan, first and foremost. I am a fan of Milan. I want my Milan to be a great club again. That's where I come from. That's all I care about. That's genuinely all I care about. And I come on here to have a chat with you guys, because you're also of the same. You also want the best for the club. I don't come on here because I'm trying to get followers. None of that going on with us. So, as I said, I'm always more than willing, and I think you're the same, Nico, right? More than willing to have anyone come on and have a chat with us about the club, right? We'll
I mean,
more than happily. Let's
I
have
had
Roy.
Abdi on the show a while ago. That's not a
Remember?
lot.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember. I jumped on
we
too, right, when Abdi came
we
on.
we gave him
Let's,
his.
yeah, not a problem. Let's have a conversation. Let's try and understand your point of view. So, for example, if one of those guys came on and said, "Look, yeah, we get exclusive access to the club, so we have to," they go, "Fair enough. Now it's obvious, instead of us reading between the lines, kind of thing." That's how it works.
Oh,
Um,
Roy, what's up, Roy? What's happening? Yeah, Roy, would like to have you on sometime. Let's try to organize something down online with Lab, Husney, Shane, um, Kim, Nathan. Let's get everybody on.
yeah, as I said, I'm not here to smash anyone, guys. That's not my agenda. I'm not here to smash people. I really am not. I leave that to other people in their own
No,
podcast to do that. That's
no,
fine.
no, we'll leave the smashing up to Pavlovich. He can do that.
Yeah, exactly. I tell you what, I would never want to play a friendly game with him. I don't think he knows what that is. I'd end up in hospital or dead. It sounds like he's lethal.
To me, that shows that how inexperienced he is. If you can't properly train without hurting your teammates and know your own strength, either he's trying to prove something, he's a bully. I don't know, it's possible. Or two, he's so inexperienced. I can care less if he's on the Serbian national team. I don't care. That he doesn't know how to train properly. It's a comparison. Some people who've done it, if you ever sparred with somebody in boxing, kickboxing, whatever, the people who are professional box fighters know how to train. They will not hurt you. They're going to go 60, 70%. They're not going to try to kill you in the ring. All right? They're not trying to hurt their teammates, their training partners. All right? But now when you have somebody who shows up sporadically to training, who's sort of a tough guy, who's all tatted up, he's fake tats, and they come in once a month and they spar. They're the ones that they're the most dangerous because they're trying to hurt you. Because they have an ego. And I've seen it. I've experienced it. And I've experienced it even in when coaching, when I helped coach older kids. There were a couple of kids that have that same mentality. And now we're talking about a professional player now on Milan of all teams that one doesn't know is hurting his opponents, his teammates, but also in addition, any minute of the game, he could potentially cause a serious, foul, something, or get a red card on the dot. Yeah. So this is where we're at right now with this club. It sucks. It's horrible. It's depressing in certain cases. And if it wasn't, I tell you right now, John, if you weren't on the show and if there weren't people listening to this chat, to this pod as well, I probably wouldn't be doing this right now.
Yeah, I'm the same, dude. Honestly, Nicko, if there weren't other people, right? You know the story. I met Husney, I met Shane on MWP, right? I was on MWP Patreon, right? And it was just having discussions through the chat, and we're like, you know what? We're like-minded dudes, and we just love the club so much. You remember, Nicko? And it was like, let's have this discussion. But what it is us talking through it is part of the process of us trying to understand what's going on, trying to make sense of it. If you're left alone watching that, I pretty think we probably have switched off the TV, wouldn't we?
Easily. 100%.
We wouldn't watch this crap.
It's tough, extremely tough. I'm looking for. I'm constantly trying to find something to look hopeful to. Something that I'm seeing within the players. Something that'll give me some hope, some even a moment of happiness to say, look, we have something to look forward to in the future.
Right. Yeah.
Except for Gabi. I mean, if I swear, if Gabi wasn't even playing, I wouldn't probably not even watch today's game.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I understand, Nicko. Of course, I understand. You know where I've come from on this point. I think a Milan team that does not contribute to the national squad is wrong. But people will say to me, "I've got a nationalist agenda," and people that know me will know there's nothing further than the truth than that. Yeah,
no, there's
nothing further than the truth.
I've had those conversations, even with me, a while ago, when with everybody knows Aiden, obviously from Milan Labs.
Yeah,
I had a discussion with him on X a while ago. He's not as active, but I brought up the fact that we don't have Italian players. We're not contributing to the national team, and he had the audacity to call me a nationalist.
Yeah, man.
Which I was like, okay. And I even mentioned it on the recent live that I did. I mentioned the fact that how important that is for that system, for that pathway to bring up kids from from the Primavera team, teaching him
Yeah.
the tactical and technical part of the game, promoting him to the Futura team, teaching him about the other fine points of playing professional football, bringing him onto the senior team, either to contribute and to save money, because that makes a difference too, obviously, but also give him a pathway, give him some hope that, hey, one day you will be able to play on the first team.
Yeah.
Right? Or sell a few, which is fine, but sell them for a profit, which we're not doing either. And then finally, you're contributing to the national team.
Yeah.
Especially a club like Milan. We're not fucking Parma. We're not Como. We're not these small teams.
I mean, okay, Nicko, I did a bit of a test. So what I did is I took our starting lineup, the names of our starting lineup against Real Madrid. You know that starting lineup and not one Italian player against Real Madrid, right? And I then sent those names to two of my friends who are not into calcio at all. And I asked them both, where do you think this is a football club? Where do you think they're from? And one said the Premiership, I guess, because they saw, some names. And then the other one said Japan. Nicko. And I was like, you know what? It could be from anywhere in the world, couldn't it? And their response was, yeah, I don't know what country this is. And when I mentioned to them, this is the current Milan squad, AC Milan squad, they were like, oh, that's odd. This is the point. And yes, I am Italian. I am proud. Yes, but I am not a nationalist. This isn't the point. You looked at that Italian squad that lined up against Belgium, the Italian squad that lined up against France. Yeah, you had Atalanta represented. You had Inter represented. Like the whole core was Inter. And by the way, Nicko, I got a question for you. You've got the same core players playing for Inter week in, week out, same core players playing for the national squad, strengthening those bonds even more. That makes Inter even stronger. On our side, we've got players spread all over the world that are one player here, one player there. France is the joke was this between us in our chat. When Italy was playing France, Milan was actually represented by France. Yeah? So
Yeah.
Milan won that game. And Inter lost 3-1. It's
So
wrong.
to touch it on France, so even if we were trying to get French players, right? Just because there's talent coming out of France. When was the last time we signed a promising French player? Kalulu?
Mate.
So where's it add up? What's the game plan? If we're not going after Italian players, fine, okay, whatever. It is what it is, I guess. There's nothing we can do about that, right? As much as we want it, we want that. As much as how important it is to us, and everything. The fact that we're not even touching France at all, or we're just getting the worst players possible. That's the problem as well. Because Moncada, he was promised. He's the one that had all these connections to France. He knew the academies. He knew all the coaches. Blah blah blah. What has he done the last few months for us? This past season, nothing. Nothing. And I got something for everybody too. Hold on, let me cue up this video. You're gonna find this funny. Yeah, this is for Red Bird. I played this earlier, but I'm gonna play this again. This is the mood I'm in today.
Ανέστη, είσαι μαλάκας, γαμώ τον πατέρα σου που έχει τηλεφωνία, είναι πουστόπεδο, είναι μαλάκας, κάθε φορά που δεν μας δίνεις, είσαι καριόλης, τη γυναίκα σου τη γαμίσω, είσαι πουτάνας γιος, γαμώ το σπίτι σου, γαμώ το μαγαζί που έχεις, είσαι κολόμπαρος.
All right. There you go.
That is wow. That's blue. It's turning the air blue, man. Was that Greek, dude?
That's Greek, yeah.
Oh wow.
Honestly, I don't have the energy. I don't want to spend the energy going off on a Greek rant that I've done in the past. So here, I queued up this video instead.
Yeah, awesome, man. Awesome.
So, John, that being said,
2 hours, bro. So wow, amazing.
going in. Let's close in comments, right? Thanks everybody that's tuned in so far. If you haven't done so, like the video as well. Going forward, the remaining of the season, between Champions League and everything else, what is your expectations for this team?
Okay,
Just
so let me think about this a little bit. So we are now going to have 4 fixtures in the Champions League league phase, where realistically speaking, we should do quite well. Okay, I am expecting those bandwagon. Can you hear me? Oh, you're showing the
Yeah.
pic. Oh, awesome, nice.
There it is.
Hang on a minute. Real Madrid is done, so that's out the
It's
way.
done. Yeah,
So it's Bratislava, Red Star, Girona, and Dinamo, right?
Yep.
So expect to pick up a ton of points from those games. My expectation is those bandwagon fans will jump on and think everything's fine again. Fonseca knows what he's doing, and we're on our way to a fantastic ability to win the Champions League. I'm telling you, we're gonna hear this, dude. And I'll be quiet. I'll be absolutely quiet because I know exactly what's coming. Yeah. We're going to make it through to the knockout phase. We might even make top 8, Nicko. Dare I say that? But I'll say this, Nicko. Tell me something. What's predictable about this Milan team? Nothing. There's nothing predictable about how we play. There's nothing predictable about how we set up, our lineup, what our coach is going to do. Yeah. So I'm again, the betting man does this. The betting man puts money on a draw or a loss for Milan every match. And that betting man walks away with cash. That's all I'm going to say there.
There's your gambling tip of the week, fellas, right there for the season. Yeah, and I'll give you my thoughts too, Lab. The team is predictable in a sense because you know exactly what's going to happen in terms of off the ball. Tactically, it's the same shit. Nothing's going to change there. Also, none of Zaroli, Kamada, they're not going to get any quality minutes this season unless somebody gets hurt, and then Fonseca is forced his hand to play one of those players.
Yeah.
And in terms of Champions League, I know those on paper, those teams are obviously they're not as competitive. On paper, those teams have no business being on the same field as us, right? But some of those games are away too. I think 3 out of those games are away, if I remember correctly. Let's pull up that chart one more time.
Pull that up.
We have 3 away games.
No, 2.
No, 2. So it's 2 and 2. So Bratislava is away. And those games are tricky too. I mean, that game is not guaranteed for 3 points.
I mean, Nicko,
right?
Nicko, honestly, they have no business being on the pitch.
Yeah, but my point is, playing away in these smaller clubs, we don't show up for big games as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is a trap game. This could easily be a loss or a tie. At home, we should win, but again, I don't know. Honestly, the way this team is Jekyll and Hyde, there's no consistency with the pattern of play that we're playing, with the defense. There's gonna be a slip up with at least 2 of these games. I don't see us picking up 3 points in every single game. There's gonna be one or 2 losses, at least 1 loss and a draw within the remaining 4 games in Champions League. That's my take. So I don't trust the players. Yeah, and then okay, so say if we do get to the next phase, all right, great. But do we really think, honestly, that we have any chances of doing anything?
No.
Exactly.
No.
So there goes our expectation of the Champions League right there. Now, in terms of Serie A, let's flip that for a minute. Expectation wise, I'll start off with you, John. Go ahead.
Nicko, it would be incredible. I think someone said this earlier on in the chat, which was a great point. Last season, a lot of teams are rebuilding. A lot of teams were trying to put something together. In the summer, they fixed their squads, which is why it now is so tight and competitive up the top. And on our side, we've actually gotten worse with everything that we've done. So top four is a huge ask, in my opinion, for this Milan team. It's a huge ask, and probably would require Fonseca to be fired right now and to be replaced with someone that knows their shit. And as you said, Nicko, it would then require ownership to back that manager, which is just not going to happen. So, if I'm honest, I think Milan will finish fifth or sixth. That's what I think.
Same here. Because look, we have in front of us, we have Lazio. Honestly, I don't see. I mean, Lazio maybe we have a chance of overtaking them, but Juve, they're gonna add. Motta's gonna get that team right for the remaining of the season. They're Fiorentina, they're looking good as well. Obviously, Napoli as well. Atlanta's looking sharp with Gasperini, and obviously Inter. They're starting to pick up points too. They're starting to get their groove back. So yeah, top six, and I don't see Fonseca being fired regardless of what happens in the next couple of games, because one, Jerry and the rest of the suits are too proud to actually come out publicly and say we made a mistake hiring Fonseca. I think in terms of their ego and whatever, they're not going to admit they made a mistake hiring Fonseca as a coach.
Yeah,
at all. They're always going to find an excuse. They're always going to spin something, and whatever the case may be.
I think Jerry has committed I'm going to make a joke now. Jerry has committed a cardinal sin. He has surrounded himself with people who are fakers. He has surrounded himself with people who told him that they knew how to do jobs that they had no business doing. And he went, okay, then. In fact, rule one of business is surround yourself with people who are better than you. Surround yourself with people with experience. That's how the most successful companies work. He has put together a management team that, I just want to repeat this, is younger than me. That's just wrong. It's just purely wrong. And there's something that Kim mentioned earlier on as well. I just want to point out, Nicko. Atalanta have played 13 matches, right? They have scored 33 goals already. Yeah?
34.
Inter Milan, 31 goals in 13 matches. Do you get me?
Well, the more important stat is goal differences, because that wins that wins your titles. Inter's at 17, at Atlanta's 18, Napoli's at 10, Fiorentina's 15, Juve 14. We're at 6. All right.
Yeah.
That's not sustainable at all. Top 6 is probably where we're going to land. We're going to finish the season, and there's going to be some fans saying, "Well, that was a good season considering X, Y, and Z, and we should be happy. We should with the project, yada yada." I can't stand for that.
Yeah,
that's not good enough.
No.
But you know what? If, like I said, and we'll close it off with these comments. If they would say, "Listen, this is a rebuilding season. We're going to play all the young kids, and whatever happens, cool. All right, so be it." But that's not the case. And then finally, last thing, and I'll let you finish off, John, as well. You just mentioned about surrounding yourself with good people, right?
Yeah.
So we all know Jerry has a stake with the Yankees. They're successful. They went back to the World Series again. They've been successful for a long time. So when he a lot of people may not be baseball fans in the chat. So when he first started, he became part of the Yankees. George Steinbrenner, the original Yankee owner who passed away a few years back, he spent a ton of money. He always got the best players. He always was rebuilding. He always wanted to win titles. That was his thing. He was driven to win championships. Because the
Okay.
Yankees historically were one of the most successful teams in Major League history, just like we were in Europe as well. So what happens now? He even to this day he has good people around him. He doesn't own the Yankees. You have George Steinbrenner's son still owns the majority of the Yankees. You have Cashman, who's the GM, who's been there forever, knows what he's doing, which is crazy to me. He surrounds himself with good people with the Yankees, and he knows the blueprint of winning. Right? He's been around winning teams before.
Yeah.
So why didn't he just take that exact model and bring it over to Milan?
Yeah.
That's what drives me a little crazy. Like if he didn't have experience before, he wasn't surrounded with the Yankees, I'd say, okay, he doesn't have a clue about winning, but he does. He's seen it firsthand. He's won World Series titles with the Yankees. He's been there, and
Yeah.
not try to implement that into Europe and into Milan and say, all right, let me try to do the same thing. But instead of doing this half-ass shit and putting Ibra in charge and letting him run his mouth and everything else that we talked about, that's where it just, I don't know. I'm done, John. Go ahead. You want to close it off, John? Please do.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, I agree with you on the youth potentially being the one way that we can all get excited again and find something. But it used to be, when the season started, we were like, we want to watch the Futuro team. Now, do you want to watch a team that has only won 2 matches in the entire season? A team that's just been battered 4-1 by Pescara? Do you want to watch an inept manager again being humiliated but shouldn't be there? Do you want to watch a Futuro team that's got a sporting director who is literally running them into the ground? No, I don't want to see what I see as the future of this club being run into the ground. No. So you spoke about experience. Cardinale's biggest sin has been seeing Ibrahimovic being given a great send off by the ultras. Remember that banner? God bye. Yeah, seeing him crying, seeing all the fans reacted to him, and him thinking, that's the man I need. But our club, in my opinion, is being destroyed from the inside out because of ego. There is a man in there who has basically said, I know how to do this job, and I've got friends that can do this job, and I'm going to bring them all in. And he has assigned people and put them in place, and they are gutting us from the inside out as we speak. So, my last word is for anyone who's, tune in to our next podcast that we're going to be recording tomorrow as well. Thank you, Nicko, for doing these post games. Keep doing it, because I think also if Gio starts to join us on this, it'll get really interesting. I think the discussion, and it'll be a lot of fun too. So, it's good for us to talk through this, but let's keep up the pressure. Don't give up on the club. Just don't give up on us.
Hey, John, by the way, what time was the show? Do you want to plug in the time?
9 a.m. UK time. Probably too early for a lot of people. You'll be knocked out cold.
And North America viewers, yeah, we'll be fast asleep unless we're up late partying.
There you go. Morning coffee viewing, hopefully, guys. All right.
There you go. All right, so everybody, make sure you tune into tomorrow's show at 9 a.m. UK time for Lab, Uzni, and Shane should be there as well. All right, John, always a pleasure.
Cool, man.
Always
Have a
good
good
having
night,
you on the
sir.
show. All right, take it easy.
All
And
right.
always Forza Milan.
Ciao, Forza Milan.
All right, everybody else in the chat, thanks for tuning in as always, staying locked in and supporting the channel. All right, and like Lab just said, keep the pressure on. All right, and take it easy.
diavolo, solo un bidone. Sempre insieme, i rossoneri